This is KVUE News Daybreak.
The latest numbers are over 200,000 victims in 150 countries.
It is the biggest online extortion attack ever recorded, and experts are expecting another round today. What you need to do to protect yourself.
And a new situation with the texting and driving ban that could come into place in the Senate right now. You can hear about that coming up.
And release the tapes. That's a call from some lawmakers after President Trump suggested on Twitter that he recorded his conversations with former FBI Director James Comey. What's expected to happen now?
Good Monday morning, and thank you for joining us for KVUE News Daybreak at 5 a.m. I'm Brian May.
And I'm Yvonne Nava. It is Monday, May 15th. Hope you had a great Mother's Day,
That's
mothers
right.
out there. Now, before we check in with Anavita Reyes for a look at the roads, let's get a look at weather with Erica Lopez. How are things shaping up?
Well, things are going to be a little bit toasty today. Kind of a repeat of yesterday's forecast, just increasing clouds a little bit. And that's going to be the case all week long, though. Moisture levels on the high side in the mid-60s right now. So you're going to feel the humidity as you head out the door. Temperature is 64 at ABIA, 69 currently at Camp Mabry. So forecast for today. This is how it's going to play out. You will see some clouds out there. They should burn off by this afternoon to a mostly mostly sunny afternoon. Highs will be in the lower 90s. Forecasted high about 92 degrees here in the Austin metro area. Here's what you can expect as you head out the door for work for your rush hour forecast. Clouds to sun for the morning, mostly sunny afternoon. Keep in mind UV index will be on the high side and temperatures in the 90s. Turning things over to Anavita Reyes. She has the latest on traffic.
Thank you, Erica. Good morning. This is a live tech stop view at I-35 at US 290. You can see traffic is looking pretty beautiful in this area. Traffic is moving quite nicely going here northbound. Let's go ahead and take a look at this incident we are monitoring this morning. Mopac going northbound. There is a broken water pipe here slowing you down at US 290 going eastbound. So you can see here it's a little yellow, so a little bit of a slowdown in this area. So watch out for that this morning. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you so much. Happening today, a Texas Senate committee will consider a statewide texting while driving ban. KVUE's Jay Wallace joins us in the newsroom to explain why this bill is getting a lot of support. Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, Yvonne. Well, this bill, it easily passed by the House in March, but it has since collected dust in the Senate. Texting while driving bans have come before the Texas legislature several times in the past, but in recent years has not been able to garner enough support in the Texas Senate to pass. Now, House Bill 62 would slap drivers with a $25 to $99 fine for texting behind the wheel. The fine would climb to $200 for repeated offenses. This bill has a lot of public support following a deadly van crash in Uvalde County in March. Investigators say a 20-year-old man driving 90 miles plowed into a church van, killing 13 people inside. He reportedly admitted at the scene to texting while driving. Lawmakers say something needs to be done.
We need is one uniform state law that's across the board on texting, so people will know what they can do and what they can't when they enter into the state. I think the odds are better this time because of the awareness. People know the problem out there. We need help from people to talk to their senators and tell them to support the bill. It's up to us to solve it.
So in 2015, the Texas Department of Transportation says more than 105,000 accidents were caused by distracted drivers, 400 of them deadly. So the legislature passed a ban on texting while driving in 2011, but then Governor Rick Perry vetoed it. No word on what Governor Greg Abbott will do if the bill makes it to his desk. In the newsroom, Jay Wallace, back to you.
All right, thank you, Jay. 5:03 is your time, and several states are considering a bill that could make it easier for police to catch drivers who are texting behind the wheel. Lawmakers in New York say the bill would legalize textalyzers, which are devices used to tell if a driver was texting while driving by scanning their cell phone's text history. Opponents say this violates privacy rights, but supporters say it helps keep families safe on the roads. Right now, the actual technology that would be used to scan the phones doesn't even exist, but computer experts say they can create it if the bill is approved. Lawmakers in New Jersey, Tennessee, and Illinois are also looking into the bill.
Happening today, members of Austin's Latino community will rally at the governor's mansion to take on the controversial Senate Bill 4 law, which bans sanctuary cities. It's part of the 100 days of organizing against SB 4. Organizers say the goal is to educate the community on how Senate Bill 4 opens the door to discrimination across the state. 100 Latino Jolt members, the group hosting the rally, also trying to increase Latino voter turnout. Begins at 9 a.m. today at the governor's mansion. On Mother's Day, hundreds rallied at City Hall to protest Senate Bill 4 during Texas Moms Fight Back March. Protesters, including City Council member Greg Casar, wore bright red to show support for the immigrant mothers and Texas families.
Celebrating, they're not going to be celebrating. They're panicking, they're stressed, and they're really worried about the future of their communities. We're letting them know what their rights are.
People feel that all we're doing is creating disturbances. We're waking up the community. We're showing the community that we're here because at the current moment they don't see us.
Protesters ended up marching all the way down Congress to the governor's mansion.
And this morning, thousands of computers around the world could be at risk for another massive cyber attack. This message popping up on computer screens across 6 continents. The global hack hit more than 200,000 companies, government agencies, and hospitals in 150 countries over the weekend. Hackers used it to demand money. In the U.S., FedEx reported problems with its computers as well. The damage was contained after a computer security programmer in Indiana found a kill switch.
It would not take for ransom all the files on that computer, and it also would not attempt to spread itself.
I would never recommend that you pay a ransom because you're dealing with a bunch of crooks. You'll never know that they're going to do what they promise to do anyway.
FBI officials and law enforcement agencies around the world are preparing for a possible second attack. Security experts recommend backing up your computer and running the latest updated version of your operating system.
Republicans and Democrats reacting after the president's suggestions that he could possibly have tapes of his conversations with former FBI Director James Comey. The firestorm following his firing continued over the weekend. ABC's Lana Zach tells us the Trump administration now scrambling to find a new FBI director and a consistent story on the motivation for Comey's dismissal.
The hunt is now underway for a new FBI director. As candidates arrived at the Justice Department for interviews, the president said James Comey's replacement could be named sometime this week.
I would encourage the president to pick somebody we can all rally around, including those who work in the FBI.
On Meet the Press, Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said it's time to clear the air.
But I think it's time to call the FBI director before the country at large and explain what happened to that dinner. You can't be cute about tapes.
The tapes in question, those referenced by the president in a Friday tweet storm when he wrote, James Comey better hope there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press.
We got to make sure that these tapes, if they exist, don't mysteriously disappear.
If, in fact, there are such recordings, I think those recordings will be subpoenaed, and I think they'll probably have to turn them over.
For his part, President Trump declined to answer questions about those reference tapes at a golf course Sunday. There are still weighty questions remaining about the motivation for the firing of Comey and what it means to the ongoing investigation into Russian election influence. Members of Congress are hoping to hear from Comey himself, who visited the theater and posed for a picture with a cast over the weekend.
And we may still hear from the man at the center of the storm. ABC News has learned that James Comey would like to speak publicly. Associates say he's not interested in the publicity, but he would like to answer questions about his record. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
5:08 now. And next week, Pope Francis is expected to meet with President Trump at the Vatican. He hopes to find some common ground with our nation's leader. The two have different views on many social issues, but Pope Francis says rather than judging the president, he wants to welcome him with respect during his first foreign trip while in office.
Well, 5:08 is your time, and today President Trump is expected to meet with families of the Dallas officers who lost their lives in an ambush shooting last year. It's National Police Week, and officers from all across the country have gathered at our nation's capital to honor those who have died in the line of duty. This year, the names of the 5 officers who died in the deadly shooting last July will be added to the memorial wall. There are more than 21,000 names on that wall. And now taking a look at our forecast, checking to see what kind of work week weather-wise we're going to be having. Hi, Erica.
Hey there. Well, it's going to be a busy one weather-wise, starting off on the calm side, but still warm. Temperatures will be in the 90s this afternoon. Then we're going to increase rain shower chances as we go on. But also, something that's increasing is the humidity. High pressure is just to the east of us. So when that's the setup, that just funnels in some Gulf moisture. So notice southeast winds, increasing humidity, and also some cloud coverage. Right now, as you're heading out the door, temperatures in the 60s across the hill country, 63 in Fredericksburg. Looks like the coolest spot is Harper at 62, 69 in Austin, a little bit cooler at ABIA. San Marcos, you're in the lower 60s in our eastern counties. Still some upper 50s, but the majority of us are in the 60s. So forecasted high 92, a mostly sunny afternoon. Clouds that you see this morning, they should mainly burn off this afternoon and give us a mostly sunny day. But again, we have rain shower chances that begin by about Wednesday. So in the full forecast, I'm going to break down what we can expect because those chances are going to increase to some possible storms by the weekend. Guys, back to you.
All right, Erica, thanks. A Round Rock father turning his passion into a profit. For the last 20 years, Gary Alexander's been buying and restoring old Volkswagen buses and then selling them for profit. Check it out. His hobby is helping him pay for his son's college education. These vehicles went out of production around 2 years ago or so, making them even more collectible than they already were.
That's the beautiful thing about a Volkswagen bus is it's kind of like a canvas. You can do whatever you want to do with it.
We were talking about the sweet pickles.
Sweet pickles,
Alexander says he finds the buses online and on people's property when he sees them. He wouldn't tell us how much he typically buys or sells them for. It varies, but says the numbers do vary depending on the bus.
They're cute buses. They're really cool.
They are very nice looking buses.
Do you remember the whole catchy phrase for sweet pickles?
You should sing that for us. Do we have time? No?
No.
Okay, maybe next time.
I'll do it in the commercial break. Still ahead this morning, things are not looking good for Penn State University.
A student died during a fraternity party this morning who his parents are blaming for his death.
I think she would have turned into a very, very violent person because she was already destructive on just herself.
And Dell Children's Hospital is addressing mental health, the new initiative they're starting, and how you can help.